And what Ethan Salas has done for the Padres in 254 at bats with three different teams in 2023, from single A all the way to double A, is a 248 average, 331 on base percentage, 421 slugging with a 752 on base plus slugging, 9 home runs, 13 doubles, two triples, five stolen bases, 75 strikeouts to 30 walks. I'm a huge fan of Ethan Salas. The numbers don't dictate exactly what I'm trying to say, but I think Ethan Salas is a freaking superstar.
Well, I think you kind of have to throw out his high A and double A numbers altogether if you want to kind of get an idea of the type of hitter he is. There's some things that I want to point out with Ethan Salas. Like, came in with insane pedigree, right? Insane pedigree. And he got to play in spring training this year. And he was holding his own he was 16 at the time. He was 16 years old. I want to emphasize that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
He
Against
won't.
Major League,
He
against
won't
Major
be
League
eight. He won't be 18 until the start of next year. We're talking about.
So this guy's a 17-year-old and doing
Yeah.
some pretty incredible age level stuff, but he's a young 17. And I want to emphasize that too. Already very well developed for a kid that's 17 years old. Geez, I was like 140 pounds or something at that time, tiny. So he's very well developed, both as a professional and physically, at an early age, and really doing some things that we haven't seen for a long, long time as far as advancements. Now, the Padres might have pushed him too aggressively at the end of the season. They promoted him to high A, and then they boosted him right up to double A. So he got about 60 plate appearances there. That really kind of tanked his overall line. But when he was at single A, he hit 267 with a 350 OBP and a 487 slugging percentage. And I think that that's kind of the line that you could look at and extrapolate to professional, I guess, production. You could almost take that and be like, okay, when this kid is growing up, that's the baseline. Because you don't often see a 17-year-old at single A to begin with, right? Like, that's unusual, a young 17 especially. And he performed very strongly. Pushed up aggressively, numbers came down. The overall line at the end of the season doesn't look as impressive, only a 752 OPS. But the age level factoring here is off the charts, and that's why he's a top 10 prospect by Baseball America. That's why he's my personal number one catching prospect. I have him higher than the next two guys, though I think there's at least one of them it's pretty debatable with. But I've said this a few times, we haven't seen this kind of advancement since Alex Rodriguez. And next year, I mean, he could be 18 years old and knocking on the door to the major leagues. He might get a cup of coffee at 18.
Yeah, he won't be 18 till June 1st.
I could be wrong on this, but I think Alex Rodriguez is the last player to debut as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that.
So I'm just throwing that out there. At least I don't know of anyone else. If anyone does, please leave a comment and let me know, because I'd be interested in looking into that. But yeah, I mean,
I do worry about blockers with the Padres, but
Campusano's playing really well for him, which is kind
of
interesting.
Yeah, that, and the Padres do some interesting things with trading and shuffling random players. I wouldn't be surprised to see a big veteran come into the Padres next year at catcher. But he's got an athletic build. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's sleek, for the lack of a better word. He doesn't have to play catcher.
Yeah, a couple things that I would say about that is one, if the bat is as good as it looks like it is, they probably don't want to keep him at catcher.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So he seems like a really good candidate to get moved off the position. I don't know what his position would be. Maybe the outfield, maybe left field or something like that. But they're going to want to get him playing every day, I would think. If he's carrying the stick that it looks like he's got, very likely we see him off of that position. And even so, let's say he doesn't change positions. I think he's just talented enough that they will make room for him.
Yep.
So he'll find a spot. That's my take.
Yeah. I think we're both on board on this one. Ethan Salas is go get him.
Go get him. Go get him. But he's not going to be cheap. I mean, this guy is not cheap anymore.
No.
Most places, a lot of places are regarding him as a top 10 prospect. You're going to have to pay top 10 prospect prices. So, but an easy endorsement. He's somebody you want.
If you wanted to talk an owner off the ledge, just look at his stats and be like, it was only a 248. I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, he's so overrated. Trade him to me. Every time.
Hey, Ethan Salas.